Alhamdulillah. What we got from our SMC families online, mashaAllah, everybody's sharing images, lots of reels, beautiful reels that are coming out. Again encouraging everybody, please try to learn this AI software, try to post images, sunnah images, beatific men in sunnah and turbans, and to tahzim al-Nabi that anything you produce, imagine you're first showing to Prophet that is this correct and right, and that I want to spread the magnificent nature of the sunnah of Prophet, and that our life has a purpose. We have a purpose, spreading of the sunnah of Prophet, spreading of knowledges, spreading of charity. All the actions that people are doing, please be active. That activeness, it gives our faith an action and comes alive. Faith is something that has to be active and alive inshaAllah, and brings a grace and majesty to our lives inshaAllah. What do we have online?
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, how is the Laylatul Qadr celebrated in the world of light?
We just described that. That was a whole description that we just went through. That these Nabiyeen, Siddiqeen, Shuhada wa Saliheen means Qur'an is not for dunya. Holy Qur'an is not for here. Allah doesn't care for the wing of a mosquito for this dunya. So Qur'an is for all of eternity, for all of creations, all of universes, everything. So when Allah is saying, Allah I'm with Nabiyeen, Siddiqeen, Shuhada wa Saliheen. So then where are Nabiyeen, Siddiqeen, Shuhada wa Saliheen? Where are they when they want to be around Allah? Where is Allah? That's what the Mujassimiyun are not understanding. They want to put a location, big haram, it's not Ahlul Sunnah belief. Allah can't be seen, Allah can't be in a presence where you breathe breath with Allah, you share light with Allah, because light diffuses. So as soon as you go to that presence, that means is your light and is Allah light, but Allah is not created. So these are not the things that this reality and people of ma'rifah, so they're existing within the light of Muhammadun Rasulullah. So their whole life was to be at the qalb, right? What is the qalb? Qaf, lam, ba. What is Qur'an? Qaf. What is Qadir? Qaf. Same Qaf. So they're all gathering at the Qaf. The Qudra, the power, which is Qur'an. That location of that qalb is right near that lam, because the qalb that cannot be seen, the Qaf that we cannot see the power where it's coming, it emanates onto that lam. So all souls gather around that lam if they have access, not the souls who did nothing. They're very far away in the Muhammadan light. But those whom Allah guide and brought them to realities, where are they going? The huruf is teaching us, forget about ma'rifah people. The huruf is teaching us everyone goes to the Qaf, because afwal Qur'an in Majid, because the Qur'an telling us where to go. But the qalb also has a lam, the lam is the lisan and speaks, so Qaf and lam becomes qul. So how speech of Qur'an comes out? By Allah's qul. So then all these souls of the Prophets, Nabiyeen, Siddiqeen, Shuhada wa Saliheen, where are they gathered? near this lam, right, to catch the power of the qaf that comes out. When the qaf and the lam becomes a qul, Divinely speech, they're all gathered in that. And the ba is the location. So they're all trying to get into the Bahr al-Qudra, to get closer to the center point of lightning. Why? Because the Qaf is coming from unseen, hit the lam and comes out like a lightning. That's realized by awliya, and that's why they brought onto this dunya do hadara. Because each of the shaykhs were bringing the realities of Muhammadun Rasulullah and Marifah onto the earth. So the hadara is symbolic of the reality that all gather, and Prophet is hadra, Hadrat al-Nabi means the presence is the center, and Allah speaking through His Divinely heart. All whom around of Nabiyeen, Siddiqeen, Shuhada'i wa Saliheen. So the hadra was symbolic of that reality. The sama was also symbolic because the same, the shaykh in the center he wears black because he represents the annihilation, the layl, and as he whirls in the center because he represents Hadrat al-Nabi again, his whirling was symbolic of taking the qudra and bringing it out. As Prophet brings out the qudra from his heart, and then everyone else goes into a hal and begins to float into the air. So the same when the awliya would look and they would see that the Prophet's reality is moving these powers, then all their souls would begin to levitate and to become in a state of ecstasy, a divine ecstasy that cannot be understood or explained. Or if they were doing hadra, it was like a jalali, that when the jalal and the might and majesty of Allah emanate from the soul of Prophet in a hadra, in a diwan, in which Prophet's soul is like a lightning that immediately comes and disperses lightning to all the souls that are gathered in that association. And this is very jalali, like a lightning storm. What we understand and why many spiritual people are so fascinated with not only sci-fi but electricity, not electricity but lightning. Why? Because their reality has a remembrance of that association. That in the spiritual association that's like a thunderstorm, all the souls that are gathered and immense power comes like a lightning, and every soul is then being dressed by the lightning from the heart of Prophet. And the haybah of that on dunya is only a drop of its reality, in which dunya people have a fear of when lightning strikes, which shakes all the buildings. Imagine then being in the presence of real lightning of Allah's might and majesty, which emanates, and Prophet represents that spark of power, and which is worldly and lightly, the non-worldly and lightly reality of Prophet is the spark of lightning that hit, and everything will then take from that lightning. Again, words can't explain its reality, but all the shaykhs of Marifah were teaching these realities. And if Prophet brings the jamali tajalli, begin to whirl with that jamali tajalli coming out, and then everyone else float in a state of ecstasy. And Naqshbandiyat al-Aliyah, what they take from the reality of Prophet is knowledge. And as that lightning speaks the speech of Allah, this is what they inherit, is that speech from Allah's Divinely spark in the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad, which is ulum and knowledges. So Naqshbandiyat al-Aliyah is the soul of all the tariqahs, because they bring a knowledge and a power. Only by those knowledges people can reach to these realities, because once they hear it they're being lifted and dressed into that reality. It's not something that you can reach through the heart without the knowledge of its reality. The knowledge of its reality dresses the servant like a card that you go somewhere and say, "Do you have a pass to get in?" I said, "No, I just figured that I'd look around and I found this door so I thought I'd get in, but you can't get in." When the shaykhs teach a knowledge, it's a card going out that the students whom take these knowledges, absorb these knowledges, write these knowledges, it's a VIP pass for them. That when they're tafakkur and in their sleep, they'll ask Allah that, "Grant us access to this reality as I gain permission to hear it." So this is the difference, you cannot be a party crasher, think, "I'll just try to get there myself." It doesn't happen that way. They're bouncers at the door, the angels don't let anybody in, they block everything. You just can't say, "I'm coming in because I saw a whole bunch of cars outside, I'm going to come walk in now." Big angels, the ones whom guard the gates of Jahannam to make the shaitans make sure they don't enter. So it's not going to be like that. But when the servant and student hear the knowledges, they know that Allah gave permission for them to hear it. If you don't have permission, then never you're going to listen to this. You turn on the YouTube and see these people are crazy. And in the end you find who's the crazy one, the one who heard it or the one who never heard it. Because these are not the realities that are regular, these are realities that are of a Muhammadan haqqaiq that can't be understood in dunya. But as dunya is collapsing, these are the knowledges in the preparation for akhirah, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, can a student achieve Sifat al-Aziz and be dressed by its power and majesty?
Yeah, I think we gave it in Surat al-Fath when we described, Yansurullahu nasran aziza. They have to be on Siratul Mustaqeen. And when we describe Surat al-Fath, 48th surah, 4 verses at the beginning. There's a whole description that you have to be with Prophet, and that's why all of this in it comes together. Allah wants you to reach the realities, you have to be with Sayyidina Muhammad. If you have to be with Sayyidina Muhammad, can he leave you to be dirty? No. He has to open, inna fatanaka fatan mubinan. This is the great opening. Why? Fatan mubin liyaghfirakallahu ma taqaddam min dhanbika ta'akhkhar. That I'm going to clean all your sins past and all in the future, because if I'm writing for you to be with Prophet, how you can be dirty with the one whom Allah loves? Allah will clean you. If He clean you through the association and the zikr and the practices, alhamdulillah. If Allah clean you through sickness, through cancer, through anything, Allah wants to. But we always pray that, Ya Rabbi, keep me clean through dhikr and me cleaning myself. I don't want to be clean through nafsani but through rahmani. Nafsani cleaning means somebody destined to be, but they're going to have a different type of cleaning which is much more difficult. And this we'll always pray that, Ya Rabbi, grant us always from the Rahman, is that we clean ourselves, we listen to beautiful salawats, come to gatherings, have good character. It's such a beatific way. Now others whom their nafs insist, no, and they go nafsani, and that can be anything you imagine. Go to a hospital and you'll find everything nafsani there. It can be very difficult, very bad, very hard, very sad. So everyone's going to get where Allah wants them to get, regardless of what we do and try to run or try to do this or to do that. The best is to do it through love and ishq and muhabbat. Then Allah clean the servant past and their future, and then put them on Siratul Mustaqeen. And we described the night before, Prophet's name is Sayyidina Siratul Mustaqeen. Means what? If your soul and your light is with Prophet means then you're on Siratul Mustaqeen. If you're not with Prophet Siratul Mustaqeen is a two-sided blade. So who can stand on a blade? That's why the example Allah's giving is, oh, so you think you're going to come but not with Prophet, then let me really describe what Siratul Mustaqeen is: a blade with two sides, and as soon as you try to step on it, it slices the servant in half. There's no stepping on the blade that I'll tip-top and tiptoe through it, but your light has to be in the light of Prophet who is Siratul Mustaqeen. He is the blade of Allah. If you are with him you pass over, if you are not with him that blade comes down, as it came down on dunya, right? When they came against Prophet the Divinely blade came, and when the blade of Prophet came in the battlefield, he was sending them to paradise. So this is the realities of Sayyidina Siratul Mustaqeen. Either you're with him or you're with him. So easier to do it with love. If you're with Prophet of course then Yansurukullahu Nasran Aziz, Nasran Aziz, that Allah's might and majesty with you. So you love Prophet and then Prophet loves you, you are with Allah's might and majesty. That who can stop you? If Allah loves you and Prophet loves you, who can stop that? Nobody. So this is a important reality to reach to that reality, inshaAllah. Especially in these last days when you see what's happening and opening upon this earth, there's nowhere to shelter somebody, no one to find any shelter except in the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad, because now the whole world will fight for what they think is Allah. That's why the guidance has been this way for 30 years, and this type of guidance, and the reason why we call the Muhammadan way is an anti-Dajjalic system that I don't think even other guides know that reality. That Dajjal is a jinn and he's going to talk a lot about Allah, and he's going to make the Abrahamic Accord and bring everybody to agree about Allah. But we're not going to hear anything about Muhammadun Rasulullah, and that's a big problem. So we have nothing to do with that system. Anyone who talks about Allah but nothing about Prophet we have nothing to do with it, because he's going to fool people. And people will say, oh, start crying, oh he speaks so beautifully about Allah, 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 until one day he's going to turn around and say, he is Allah, and it's already too late for you. So the key of rahmah, miftah al-rahmah, the key of mercy is the love and understanding you're at the gate of Muhammadun Rasulullah. Stand behind your king and don't move. Don't think you can go forward and don't need the king. No, you're right behind the banner of Muhammadun Rasulullah. Anyone talk of anything but don't mention your king, have nothing to do with them. That's why there's no confusion. It's called Muhammadan way. And people don't understand why they call themselves Muhammadan way. Very, very clear, you're going to know very soon. They already started killing their sheeps, they have their jinn, aliens all coming. They have a whole game planned. Then people will understand why the flag says Muhammadan way. Yeah. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, what is the secret of sincerity and reciting Surah Ikhlas in Salatul Taraweeh, and how Allah is guarding His mukhlis servants from shaitan?
Oh, I don't know. Surah Al-Ikhlas is sincerity because it has all the secrets in it. You have to go read the tafsir of Surah Al-Ikhlas. So you go to Muhammadan Way and ask for the tafsir of Surah Al-Ikhlas, or go to the Shaykh AI and say, what's the secret of Surah Al-Ikhlas, and it'll give you links to the tafsir of Surah Al-Ikhlas. And it has to do with Allah and Qul Hu. When we understood that Allah in this surah, because all of Qur'an is the secret of Prophet, and in this surah is sincere because it speaks of nothing but the realities and a deep reality, Qul Hu. So Allah is speaking, is a qul, because Allah is the one giving the qul to who? So then this is opening of a reality of bayna ahad wa ahmad, that when Allah is speaking to the immense reality of Muhammadun Rasulullah and a divine mirror and reflection, the who of unknown can never be known, and it's reflecting to the who and the he of Muhammadun Rasulullah. This is an immense reality of the who, and we said that from that who of Muhammadun Rasulullah is what he makes his awliya from the who man. So those who want to inherit that reality, Prophet dresses them from hidayat, because they have hay and they have hidayat, and then dresses them from wow, that be loving. Because we said no one can carry the trust of Allah, the wow. The secret of creation is in wow. There's not a single soul that can carry that love. On how Allah created this creation by love, the immensity of its love, and it shatter anyone who even thinks about that love, because the love is so deep and so powerful. You even just watch something sad and you cry, how can you carry the reality of the wow of Allah? Nothing can carry it, nothing can carry it, but Allah created Prophet soul to carry that secret. As a result, you're the secret of my love and my Divinely, because I'm a hidden treasure wanting to be known. That's an act of love, when you want to be known to your creatures and to your creation. But you have to have the purified light and most pure reality, and has to be dressed by hidayat and guidance. So the who of Prophet is reflecting from the who of Allah, and then this becomes the dress throughout all of creation. In the dhikrun wa huwa, what do we have? No, we have from Surah Yasin, inna huwa dhikrun wal Qur'an al-Mubeen. Innahu dhikrun, I think this is the verse we have, that Allah is giving many secrets of the who. And the reality of that who is the dress of Prophet. Innahu dhikrun wal Qur'an al-Mubeen. Yeah, this is the one we taught from Surah Yasin, innahu dhikrun. That his reality is the dhikr and the clear Qur'an. The Prophet's soul is walking Qur'an. That's what we said, it's all emanating from the soul of Prophet, because where is Qur'an? Again you can't say it's with Allah, it's Allah's Divinely speech. Once He speaks it, it's manifested. Once it's manifested, it's now in the world of light. That walking Qur'an is Prophet, innahu dhikrun wal Qur'an al-Mubeen. And that's why in Surah Inshirah Allah is teaching, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Not to dunya, because Allah's not talking about dunya, Allah's talking about all of the heavens and the world of light that sees this reality. وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. How we raised your dhikr. Your name Muhammad Rasulullah is everywhere, but we don't see it, we don't understand. They see it on the throne of Allah, La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. Why Allah want to sit on something named Muhammadun Rasulullah? Because this is for Prophet to sit on, and Allah sits upon what He created. He created Muhammadun Rasulullah and sit upon the throne of the King, and the King can sit upon the chair. So all of these realities then go deep into the realities of light and the manifestation of light. All of those are manifested, and yet Allah is not manifest. So Allah is a hidden treasure, wanting to be known, but Allah still remains a hidden treasure with no likeness, no place, nothing like unto Allah, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, forgive us for our bad adab. Is Sahibul Waqt an awliya station name or only for Sayyidina Imam Mahdi alayhi salam? We read a nickname of an awliya which one of the names was Sahibul Waqt.
Yeah, I don't know, is this from the Naqshbandi awliya or somebody on the internet called himself Sahibul Waqt? There's somebody on a website that gives lots of things, says he's the sultan of the time and he's the Sahibul Waqt. Anyone calling themselves giving their titles and giving all of these high things, then that is not correct. So the owner of the time is anytime there's an owner of the time. So the Sahib is the one whom owns that time. But now because of the last days, then this is a reference to Sayyidina Muhammad al-Mahdi, Sahibul Waqt. Because the faiz and the energies that coming are in the hands of Imam Ali salam, and he carries the amanat and the trust for all the tariqas and for this whole of dunya. Had it not been for Imam Ali salam, Islam would have been sold a long time ago. That's why we recite Nadi Ali. And this is all approved by the Sunni scholars who agree that yes, Imam Ali salam, Nadi Ali, you have recited, you have shifa, you have healing, all of these. Why? Because he's the caretaker of the religion. Look at the people of this religion now, its rulers. They sold Islam, they sold it for some power, some authority. You think if Imam Ali wasn't here we would have Islam? No, they would have sold it, and they would have told everyone, no, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do, you don't need to do, you don't need to do, until Ramadan would have been a hobby. You could give chocolate, I don't want to have chocolate for 30 days and that would be your Ramadan. No, who's keeping the way? Imam Ali. Why? Through his tariqas. Is the one holding the amanat of all the tariqas, and the tariqas are the soul of Islam. Without the tariqah, Islam is a hollow carcass, it won't be alive. Allah keeps it alive by a soul, just like a pious person, their body if it dies, the soul is what is important. So it means that the soul of Islam is the tariqah, because it has all the realities of the world of light that they're not talking about, they don't believe anymore. As a result of that light, very powerful, because now Sayyidina Mahdi salam's force and energy is very strong in the tariqah. These knowledges are coming from his heart and his reality and his sword. And as a result, this is the pumping beat, this is the real power of the soul. But it just needs a body to enter into, because these bodies are not participating, they're on the wrong page. So they keep it alive, keep the trust alive until the day that it's necessary to come out. But it's being kept alive by these realities. So this is a great gift to the nation of Sayyidina Muhammad is that Allah safeguarded and preserved it with the presence of Imam Ali salam, and that's why we have our sijil, is to pay homage and respect to that reality, and that strong representation from Imam Ali salam and Imam al-Husayn salam. And that's why the sigil marks who we are in our flag and what we believe, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum, Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, since a couple of days now, been reciting Ya Shah-e Mardan with Ya Sahib al-Zaman Sayyidina Mahdi. Does it mean something when it is not intended and is just naturally occurring?
I don't know. Everyone may have a different inspiration come to them, but everything has a meaning, everything has a beatific power. So something within your reality is requiring that power or that tajalli. From whatever we recite we call upon a tajalli. So this is always has a significance, it's never something not significant. So alhamdulillah, by inspiration people will recite and take an energy different from different salawats, different recitations inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum, Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Speaking of the lightning, if we get struck by physical lightning, is there any spiritual energy associated with that if we survive?
If you survive, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's a energy of it, but yeah, I'm sure that there's some sort of a energy from it. Some people have been changed by being hit by lightning, they had different abilities, different skills. Yeah, you can be hit by spiritual lightning. I think in our younger age we kind of liked physical lightning, in search of lightning, but that was symbolic of a greater reality. That when we come from a reality, you don't come from nowhere and then seek out a reality. It doesn't work that way. That you're from a reality seeking to gain it back, that was the game. If you came from nowhere, let's say you from the lowest levels of paradise, you don't come to this earth to seek the highest levels of paradise. It's not in the destiny. From the good come the good, means the souls whom Allah has already been in a high reality, they came to the dunya to re-seek their reality, gain back what they lost. That's why they have a taste of it. They say, no, I know these lights are important, these sounds are important, the rain is important, the meditation is important, I just don't know how to bring it together. So it's an intrinsic taste within the soul, insatiable. You can say, I don't need it, I don't need it, you go, but you're going to need it because you're from it. Then you try to sit with others and they don't speak from it and you feel like, oh, I'm not being fed at all, I don't know what these people don't, there's not anything I'm interested in. So you come from a reality and our life was to reach back to that reality. That's why we say this teaching is very specific. People whom are not from this reality, they tune in, they think everyone's crazy and they go. But it wasn't for them, they didn't eat from it in paradise and they don't gonna eat from it in dunya. So, but the ones whom were fed this milk in paradise, saw those lights and those realities, they won't stop until they reach to that reality because they saw it, they felt it, they know it to be real, now how to regain it. That's why they watch sci-fi movies, spiritual movies, alien movies to see what's going on, what is this world trying to divulge of itself, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum, Sayyidi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, can we offer the qurban in our own country and do we distribute the meat with our own hands or do we give it to local charity who does that? Please forgive my ignorance.
No, you give it to your charity your shaykh has, why would you give it to a local charity? So give it to the charity the shaykh has and we'll give it and you get the barakah and the sawab of supporting the tariqah, supporting the charity. If you do it with your own hand, no problem, go buy the goat, go cut it, go give the food out, go take the shirt and put the shirt on, everything. But when it comes to support, support the tariqah, support the shaykh, support their programs. That way it lends to the whole package because then we take the pictures, we show other people, the more support comes. And the more support, the more people, and these are all our students. We're not, these guys now I keep mentioning Nigeria. There's Ali there, there's Basit there, I think there's 3 or 4 other people, then India, Pakistan. They're all murids and they have a jama'ah. So the more we send them, the more we keep them busy and then many other things can begin to develop. more programs. They have the orphanage programs and the trucks and the cars and everything. So this is the system that has been put in place for us, for all of us to accomplish our faith. You want to do qurban, you just go online, click. You want to do a well, you go online, click. You want to give sadaqah, go online, click. Now is the season for zakat. These are the nights in which everything will be multiplied by 30,000 if it hits. And these are the nights that inshaAllah hit. And we said before that when you give, you're giving to the hand of Prophet because the tariqahs represent that reality. When they're talking about these realities is to give people an understanding of what's happening, that how deeply it's connected to every reality and how much that support is going to be written upon people for their akhirah inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salaam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, you have said Allah does not have time. Does it mean by salamun hiya hatta matla al-fajr that awliya are in salam 24 hours a day? How about those who are trying to follow awliya?
Allah doesn't have time for us? How about those who at the end, what was the at the end?
How about those who are trying to follow awliya?
Yeah, exactly. That's the other part of Laylatul Qadr. That when Allah is describing, what was it? أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ وَمِنْ الْقَدْرِ لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِمْ كُلِّ أَمْرٍ. That this we described before in other things, you can look at the video. This is a description of the Divinely Wi-Fi. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ وَالرُّوحُ. What is malaika wa ruh? Because these are also the ulul amr. وَمَا أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ أَطِيعُوا رَسُولَهُ أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنكُم means then the malaika who can be in infinite in number. Wa ruh means the highest Muhammadan authority of that station. Right? These are the Muhammadan authorities that carry the Muhammadan trust. They receive that, the angels receive it bi-idhni rabbihim, and with the permission of Allah it now becomes to disperse throughout. Kullil amr, that every single amr command is coming through that signal. Every single command, salamun we gave you, sin lam mim. Salamun, sin lam mim. The sir, the secret of ilmu yaqeen, aynu yaqeen, haqqu yaqeen comes on the lam and the tongue, and Muhammadan Rasulullah is its haqqaiqs. So this salam is a loaded package of knowledge coming down from stations of truth. The knowledge of certainty, aynul yaqeen, the vision and the basira, the reality of that certainty, haqqi yaqeen, all of that is coming down as these commands and lights. So if you understood just the sun, they say from the sun, the photon of the sun reaches our entire galaxy, because the sun is an example for us to understand eternity. The photon of the sun is like the station of this Suratul Qadr. The angel and the ruh that are the occupants of that sun, they take the command of Allah at every moment, and it's a Wi-Fi that comes through the entire galaxy. So when the signal passes through you, every knowledge and reality of your cells are coming, because how many signals are coming through you at any moment? Like a Wi-Fi signals could be hundreds of thousands of signals are coming and flowing through you in a continuous state. They tell every cell and every energy, every soul, everything about you, every command is coming to you, every cell is command is coming to you, your soul's understanding and knowledges are coming to you. So this salamun is loaded And that's why Allah says, everything is under guidance. Your cell is under Allah's commands and guidance. Your soul is under the command. There's nothing that exists outside of that power signal that's coming down. If Allah excluded anything of His creation away from that power, it will cease to function and collapse. So there's not a jinn, there's not a shaitan, there's not a creature that doesn't rely on this power coming, and it gives its coordinates. So now we understand in our dunya, right? Imagine if we had really reached this wireless power and all our house was powered by our router wirelessly. But everything's functioning but it's not plugged into anything, because that's where our technology will go. So it's coming through Wi-Fi that's wireless, everything is functioning. But if one of the devices Allah shuts off, even the signal comes out, that device can receive no signal. Without the signal of power coming, it's not functioning. So there's nothing that escapes Allah's signal on what it's supposed to do, what it's supposed to eat, everything. So this is real ocean of tawheed of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. It's an immense ocean of tawheed to think that nothing escapes that Wi-Fi. Well, kullul amr, every command is coming through, and it comes like a photon. That's why they see the photons, they look like flying angels, little tiny photons in the sky, because they're coming with commands telling your cell, do this, now do this, now do this, now do this, now do this. So there's nobody outside of that command. So that's it, salaamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. Those servants who reached Qadr are back up in the heart. So of course they have an immense power, and that's why we said for holy companions we say alayhi salam. So why you say alayhi salam upon them? Because of course I would imagine the holy companions are the owners of Qadr, they reached salaamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. So of course they're on Allah's salams versus radiyallahu, may Allah be pleased with them. I'm not comfortable thinking may Allah be pleased with them, Allah's definitely pleased with them. May is for us, may Allah be pleased with us. But for them they are alayhi salam, of course they're the system of and the reality of Allah's salam. So that reality of Qadr, and to be with the people of Qadr and to eat from their Qadr, to drink with their Qadr, to support their Qadr, everything you do with them at any moment is multiplied by 30,000, because you're with a Qadri person. So when you give to them, pray with them, eat with them, listen with them, do dhikr with them, what happens? They're a multiplier. They multiply everything you do by 30,000 minimum. We've described this maybe 1,000 times. Then that's just the Laylatul Qadr. This was the gift from Allah. What Prophet gave as a gift, that if they make tafakkur, and these my people of tafakkur, their 1 hour of tafakkur is 70 years of worship. 1 hour of tafakkur with the people, at least the one who taught tafakkur, is like 70 years of worship. So each day, because 1 hour is 70, each day is like 1400 years. Every day with them as if 1400 years of your own life. You don't even live 1400 years. So you would have to have what, 200 lives just to match 1 day with them that you spend. And that's Allah's gift, that if you find these shaykhs, you accompany these shaykhs, this is Allah's rahmah and mercy. If you're astonished how rain and water, how do they come into areas? How does barakah come into an area? By the presence of these realities. So these shaykhs, their students and all who represent that power station, wherever they are, they're like Wi-Fi transformers on earth. They bring salaamun hiya hatta. So wherever they are, they bring a salams and a peace and an energy and a transmission. So these are very deep realities if people sit and contemplate, Because they're not only sitting on the sun but wherever they are, Salamun hiya hatta mitla al-fajr, that every emanation from their souls. And this is then the greatness. That's why we said people are astonished by the masjids and buildings that they build, but they're not astonished by the masjids that Allah builds. And Allah builds masjids within the hearts of servants, not within buildings, because Allah doesn't care for buildings. So Allah's real masjids, they have power. But the people's masjids, you need one of Allah's servants to be in there, not your building and your bricks and mortar going to have power, inshaAllah. فريضة إلى شيخ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أصحابه الكرام ولمشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العلية سائر وساداتنا صدقين عن الفاتحة. Ameen. InshaAllah, this is the night of Kafar Dunub. Don't forget the prayer after Salatul Isha, that you can print it out on the internet or wherever the guys that put it. I think it's also in the newsletter that went out. This is the night to do that. This is the last Jummah coming in, Jummatul Wada, the farewell Jummah of Ramadan, and the power nights and other stuff happening on Monday and Tuesday from other faiths. So inshaAllah Allah dress us, bless us, and let's see what happens. It should be nice and exciting hopefully. InshaAllah dress us and bless us. Baniyat Khatmi Khawjikan inshaAllah. Shabad Ya Rasul Kareem, inshaAllah Jummah Mubarak to everyone, and anyone who didn't understand the talk, don't worry about it, just make lots of salawats tonight, tomorrow night, and ask to be at the heart of Prophet and to receive the powers of Laylatul Qadr and the blessings of Laylatul Qadr that is happening all the time through the heart of Sayyidina Muhammad. Allah dress everyone, bless everyone and forgive me. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.